Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Duval Mafia here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the 3 top prospects for the Jacksonville Jaguars ahead of the 2022 NFL Draft and do a quick recap of each one and who I think are better fits, who I think are better players, and overall who I think the Jaguars should look at in order. So to get right into this, I'm going to start with Aidan Neal, the left tackle out of Alabama. So to start off, Aidan Neal is 21 years old. He is a junior from Alabama, and he was a 5-star recruit, and he comes in at 6'6", 360 pounds. Neal has a massive frame and uses it to his advantage and is a primarily power blocker in my opinion, and he uses his power to move the defenders off the line in the run game, and the run game is probably his biggest strength in my honest opinion. But this takes nothing away from him as a pass blocker, because in his pass sets, he uses his body and length to force the defenders to run around him and essentially away from the quarterback, because he doesn't let them get leverage on him and push him back into the quarterback. Due to his sheer size, he's just impossible to move. He becomes this immovable mountain as a left tackle as well as a right tackle. And in the first 2 seasons, Neal was actually the right tackle for Alabama, but he made the transition from right tackle to left tackle this season, which I actually like this because left tackle is a much more valuable position. And with Neal making this transition from right tackle to left tackle, he seems more comfortable at left tackle than he was at right tackle, even though he seemed more dominant in the run game and as a power blocker at the right tackle position. At the left tackle position, he seems more focused on his pass sets and really protecting quarterback, and it seems more of a natural fit for him. And he has very good awareness to take away the inside moves against these defenders and basically force them to the outside away from the quarterback, which is extremely important because not only does this protect the quarterback from blindside hits, what this does is allows Aidan Neal to, even when he gets beat by his defender in front of him, he allows the defender to go around the outside, giving Trevor Lawrence, who would be his quarterback in this scenario, enough time to get rid of the ball even if he doesn't win his block. And Neal has just a skill set that is made for the NFL, and honestly, he can play both tackle positions, which is an extremely valuable thing. He can succeed at the NFL level at the right tackle position as well as the left tackle position. He's probably got a higher ceiling at the left tackle position, but has a higher floor at the right tackle position. What I mean by this is the best fit for Neal, if you want to get the most out of him, is as a left tackle. But if you have a stud left tackle, which the Jaguars do not have, but hypothetically, if you had a stud left tackle, putting Aidan Neal at right tackle is just as much comfortable for him. He's very similar to Penei Sewell in that way, where he has that versatility to go to both sides, and the combination of size, power, and overall freak athleticism that he possesses allows him to do basically whatever he wants. And for me, Aidan Neal is definitely one of the top 2 selections at this point. The more I watch Aidan Neal and the more I learn about him, the more I'm warming up to the idea of taking him number 1 overall. And to move on to the next guy, it's going to be Thibodeau, the edge out of Oregon. He was also a 5-star recruit. He's also 21 years old in his 3rd season. And Thibodeau comes in at 6'5", 258 pounds. And he was actually the number 1 ESPN player when entering his college career. And he's basically been that way his whole life. He's been one of those top recruit guys. And Thibodeau has freak athleticism, and he has some of the best explosion and overall quickness and agility that I've seen in a player of his size in a very long time. You don't really find 6'5", 260-pound guys who move like Thibodeau does. And when he is playing against the passing game, he has an explosive first step, and honestly, he gets the quarterback in what feels like 2 seconds, not even. When he gets that first step and he gets a very good move on the offensive tackle that he's playing against, once he gets that first step in the ground, the offensive tackle is pretty much laid out to dry. I mean, unless they have interior help and push him outside, he's going to get to the quarterback in passing sets in those scenarios. And even though his toolbox for pass rushing moves is not quite at the level you'd want to see, off of sheer athleticism and the ceiling that Thibodeau has, you really don't have much concern there, because he also has a lot of room to grow, which people need to understand. he's still only 21 years old, and he's going to grow into a pretty much generational edge talent at the NFL level if he finds himself in a comfortable position where he can grow and he can add to his game. But where Kayvon Thibodeau really makes his money is against the run. He holds his hands heavy, and he does an amazing job at holding his position against the run and holding his point of attack. So essentially, if you're going to his gap with the run game, you're not going to get by him. And his motor and his high effort is what allows him to truly stop the run game in its tracks. Because even if he's blocked, he has such a high motor that he's able to, while being blocked, if the running back runs through his gap, still get a hand or at least get some type of part of him in the running lane, just enough to slow down the running back to where his teammates can make the play. And that's what really makes Kayvon Thibodeau a special prospect. The fact that he's such a freak athlete and also plays with such a high effort and high motor is something that you really don't find very often. And this is what essentially makes Kayvon Thibodeau a special talent and what guarantees him to be a top 3 pick in the draft coming up. And to move on to the final guy, it's going to be Aidan Hutchinson. Hutchinson is your prototypical 4'3" defensive end at 6'5", 270 pounds. He's also 21 years old, but he's actually a senior, and he will turn 22 this upcoming season. And he was a 4-star recruit at Michigan. And what I love about Aidan Hutchinson is the fact that he's worked his way up. And what I mean by this is he's humble in a sense that he hasn't been that guy for his entire career. And with the size that Aidan Hutchinson has at 6'5", 270, if you put him as a 4'3" defensive end, you pretty much just don't have to worry about him on his side. He's going to put in work in the run game. He stops the run in its tracks. He's got great length. I mean, he's all you could want in the run game. And then when it comes to the passing game, he has an amazing toolbox, and he has such amazing fundamentals when it comes to pass rush that you don't even realize how truly freak of an athlete he is as well. Like, he's not quite a freak athlete like Evan Neal or Kayvon Thibodeau, but he's enough of a freak athlete that combined with his fundamentals, the effort he puts in, and the way that he uses leverage to his advantage, it really makes him a special prospect. And he's also going to be a top 3 pick. And really, my favorite spot for Aidan Hutchinson is as a 4'3" defensive end, as I said. And that's his best fit. The best fit is for him is probably on the right side as the defensive end on the right end. And he's definitely going to be an every down player. And he's going to be a great pass rusher with all the tools in his toolbox, with a great motor, a great head on his shoulders. And he's honestly a very humble guy. And he also did have experience at Michigan playing outside linebacker a little bit, but his fit at the NFL level for a plug-and-play type working is going to be as a 4'3" defensive end. But he does have the size to show off versatility. He can kick it inside on clear passing downs, and also if a team is in a 3-4, they can use him from time to time in a coverage set, but I don't feel like that's his best ceiling. And as I said, he's a well-rounded player. He can play against the run. He can play against the pass. Has a great motor. And really, for him, the sky is the limit, as well as Kayvon Thibodeau and as well as Evan Neal. And the Jacksonville Jaguars really can't go wrong with any 3 of these guys. And it's going to be super exciting to see which one they land up with. And as it goes for me, number 1, people are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but number 1 has actually become Evan Neal for me. I think protecting Trevor Lawrence has to be priority number 1. Number 2 is then Kayvon Thibodeau, and a close number 3 is Aidan Hutchinson. But I will make this very clear. No matter who the Jacksonville Jaguars pick come April, I'm going to be happy if it's one of these 3 guys, because these are all 3 talents that are going to change the outlook of their positions, whether it's Evan Neal on the offensive line or Thibodeau or Hutchinson on the defensive line. They are going to come in day 1 and make a huge impact and change whatever part of the football that they are playing on. So without further ado, I'm going to wrap up this video. So if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. If you are new, make sure to subscribe. And as always, peace out, Duval.